Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Halo Effect. As usual, I am your host, Robert Lockhart. Hey, let's talk some baseball, huh? So, just a little bit more than a week into spring training games, and finally another one of the Big Four has been signed. It was Matt Chapman by the Giants earlier over the weekend for about 3 years, 53 mil. much like Bellinger's, each year is an opt-out year. So, once again, he can apply for next year as well if he so does wish. Anyway, with that said, let's get into how things are going. The Angels have won their last few games. Things have looked pretty good for the Halos thus far. Detmers, if anybody saw the game, he could not locate his pitches at all in that game. But he said he didn't feel right. There was something not right. His mechanics were off. If he says he knows what he did wrong, hopefully he can correct that. It'd be nice if he did. Anderson had a decent game today, from what I understand. He only gave up one run this time. Still, but crack. Oh, no. Can I say, that's Anderson for you. However, the one start that I saw Patrick Sandoval in, he looked good. Chase Silseth, he didn't start, but he did appear in relief. He still looked good. I mean, I thought he did. He pitched very well. The one that kind of surprised me was Suarez. He pitched in relief today, a couple of innings out of the bullpen, and it looked pretty good. Color me surprised, but it's just a couple of innings. It's getting through the rest of the lineup, number one, and getting through it a second time, number two. That's probably where he has the trouble. So anyway, with that, the one thing that I do want to talk about that I was very, very astonished by, and positively so, was Caden Dana made his starting debut a couple days ago, and he pitched only 2 innings, but those were 2 innings that were very, very good. I was surprised. I mentioned that the bio on him, the scouting report on him has him ranked as a mid-rotation starter in the future. If he can add a little bit more velocity on his fastball, and be about as dominant as he looked in his start, I think he's better than a mid-rotation starter. I honestly do. I'm one of those people who can admit when he's wrong, and from what I've seen, he's basically exceeding expectations, and I like that. Those are the players I really like. Guys who are like lower round picks, guys like David Fletcher was, who, by the way, is batting .500 this spring. Gee, who could have foreseen that? Jared Walsh, batting over .400 with a home run with Texas. Gee, again. Who could have seen that coming? Huh? Guys, do I know my stuff or what? In this particular situation, Caden Dana, or Dana as it's actually pronounced, I'm sorry about that. Caden Dana actually looked really good. He just looked great. He was a 11th round pick, I believe it was. And guys like that, who can raise their stock really well, become better than expected. David Fletcher was a 6th round pick. He turned himself into one of the best on base guys in the game. Jared Walsh was near the bottom of the pack with these 31st, 32nd round pick, 39th actually, I believe it was. And dude turned himself into a great hitter. He had, what, 2 bad seasons because of thoracic outlet syndrome that he had to have taken care of? That's an injury, people. You're not going to play well during an injury. And then last year, he was excelling in spring and then he had that neurological issue that really screwed him up throughout the rest of the season. I mean, even when, he felt better, he still was not swinging the bat right, and he knew it. And you let him go after that? Don't get it. Still don't get it. But Caden Dana looked really good. I mean, I'd only seen, pictures of the kid. Seeing this dude up close, my lord. I mean, he's as jacked as a first baseman. My God. He's a big dude. He really is. I mean, he's not like 6'8" like Noah Syndergaard was. For some reason, they compared him to Noah Syndergaard. Oh, yeah, it's his flowing locks. Come on. What California kid doesn't have long blonde hair? Anyway, that's beside the point. His fastball looked good coming out of his hand. His breaking stuff, his changeup, all looked really good. It was really, really good. I mean, yeah, he walked the first batter he faced. He got the next 3 out. He struck out 2 guys. Only walked 1. I believe he gave up 1 hit, induced a double play after the hit. The kid looked good. I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to seeing what this kid can do, coming up through the ranks over the next couple of years. Believe me, I will keep my eye on him, and I will let you all know how he's doing. So anyway, the way things are going for the Halos thus far actually aren't too bad. They're doing what they need to do. The situational hitting, the stealing bases, moving runners over, taking the extra base. Like I said, this is all Ron Washington. This is his kind of baseball. And this is what the Angels needed. They still got some of the power bats. Let's not forget, Moniak can probably give you about 20 plus in a season. Trout's going to be Trout. Let's see. Rendon, if he can give us 120 games in the season, he may very well put up about 20 or 25. He can probably do that. Shawnuel, I believe at his best, 20 to 25 in a season. He's not a 30-plus kind of guy. I really don't think he's a 30-plus. That's stretching it, and that's going to hurt his average because he'd be swinging for the fence more often. It's not what you want him to do. Ward, another 20-plus kind of guy. Their biggest power threat right now would technically be Miguel Sano, brought in on a minor league deal from Minnesota. Miguel Sano, though, has major power in his bat, also doesn't connect with the ball as much as he should. So, with a new organization, new coaching, who knows? Maybe he can raise his batting average up to about 270, 275 and put together a 30-plus home run season. You know what? We got a spot for him at DH. That would work. But, again, he's got to hit the ball. He's got to hit the ball consistently and do so on a regular basis. Now, with that said, there's another subject that I would like to touch on in this particular situation. During one of the games I was watching, the announcers weren't the usual announcers. I believe Trent Rush and Bobby Valentine were announcing this game. Bobby Valentine's mostly associated with the Mets. I don't know what he's doing with the Angels organization, but that's neither here nor there. That really doesn't matter. I want to touch, I know, again, beating a dead horse with the whole Joe Adell situation. But I got to touch on this one, just because I thought the comments were relatively interesting. Trent Rush, when Joe Adell stepped up to the plate, Trent Rush basically said, Joe Adell is having a great spring. He has 2 hits. Now, they're extra bases, but 2 hits. 1 RBI. That's it. He's been 0 for ever since. Not many strikeouts, mind you. He was 0 for 3 today. No strikeouts. He put the ball in play every single time. I've only really seen highlights of the game that was earlier. I never really got to full on see the game. I did miss the full game, so I didn't see a whole lot. I did see highlights. So I'm not sure whether he hit him hard or what, but still, he was 0 for 3. He did put the ball in play, but 0 for 3. Like I said, it's been 0 for ever since he hit that since he hit the double in the first game. So, he's been having a great season, or a great spring, Trent. 2 hits. That's it. He's had 2 hits. And then Bobby Valentine's comment floored me. I mean, it was just jaw-dropping. If he becomes the player that the Angels thought he would, this is a different team. Really, Bobby. Because they still look like a team that needs their pitching to excel. That's what I've been saying the last 7 years. This team has needed to rebuild its farm system, the pitching staff. And they needed to start doing that in 2017. They didn't. They had a chance at Shane Baz, they went with Joe Adell. They had a chance at Brady Singer, they went with Jordan Adams. They had a chance at Matthew Allen. Granted, he dropped to the 3rd round due to signability and has kind of dropped off the face of the baseball map because of serious injuries. But still, they had a shot at him. They chose Will Wilson, who is no longer with the organization, mind you. That's another faux pas that, happened that is neither here nor there. But they've had a chance at rebuilding their pitching staff, and they just haven't done it. Reed Detmers has been the only starting pitcher that they've drafted that's come up through their system. Starting pitcher. Now, there's a couple on the way, from what I understand. Caden Dana being one of them. I still don't know what they plan to do with Sam Bachman. If he's straight reliever now, why'd you draft him in the 1st round? That makes no sense. But, I mean, it happens. There have been 1st-round pitchers who have been relegated to the bullpen. Look at Drew Pomeranz. But, I mean, the guy had some major shoulder injuries that really kind of derailed his starting, but he's one of the top relievers in the game, so it's really not necessarily a bad thing. Just surprising, that's all. Bachman hasn't really had major injuries, not to his shoulder anyway, not to his arm. It's mainly his back and his... Well, no, his shoulder, it wasn't an injury. That was a pretty bad injury. Just from what I've read, the Angels still have high hopes for him. They just said high hopes. I don't know whether they said whether he's going to be a starter or what. But they have high hopes. So, well, there you go. So him and Dana both in a starting rotation would seem pretty good. Combine them with Silseth, Canning, who's looked good this spring. I've been really impressed by him, that's for sure. And those who know me know it's very hard to impress me. So, again, with that said, just back to Bobby Valentine's comment, dude, no, it's not a different team. They still need the pitching. It's just a more offensive, powerful team. and not much. He's still, on the fence in the outfield. It's still kind of in the outfield, defensive wise. But yeah, if you become a 295 to 305 kind of hitter, hitting bombs all the time, sure. It's definitely an upgrade. Be nice to have that when Rendon gets hurt. And you hear me always say when he gets hurt. Prove me wrong, Anthony. Prove me wrong, please. So, let's recap. The Angels have looked good this spring. I've been impressed with Griffin Canning. He's looked very good. Hoping the one start that no, what's his name had was just a fluke. And the whole Joe Adele situation, still on the fence. It's still on the fence about whether he can become what he was hoped to become. And with that said, I gotta say, Bobby, I hope you're being just hopeful on this. Because if that's your if that's your actual opinion, man, you gotta pay attention a little bit more, man. If you're gonna be in commentary for the Angels, pay a little bit more attention. It's not a different team, same team, still needs pitching. There you go. So I think I'll leave it there. It looks pretty good thus far. We all know that the 162 coming up is the real test. So let's just hope that goes well. Let's hope Rendon stays on the field for at least 120. Let's hope that Joe Adele actually does become what the Angels thought he would be. I still have my doubts, but it could happen. I mean, take a look at Moniak. Everyone thought he was a bust. He comes over to the Angels, he rakes like crazy. Look at that. So it could happen. It could. Never going to say that it's not. I just have my doubts, that's all. Caden Dana looked really good. Could be future 1 or 2 kind of pitcher. Still wondering what they're going to do with Sam Bachman. If he's eventually going to be a starter or if he's going to be a forever reliever. Really wish I would know. So, I will leave it there, and I will talk to you all later. Good luck, fellas. Go Halos.